Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. You'll notice up on the screen that we are shifting from the Industrial Revolution into a new topic called imperialism. If you actually take a look at the political cartoon on the screen, it should give you a little bit of an indication of what imperialism is. This political cartoon, if you take a look, is labeled Germany, British, and Russian grab bag. And if you take a look at the action that this man who represents Russia is doing, it literally looks like he is stealing a part of Asia on behalf of Russia. Imperialism is just that, and we are going to talk a little bit about that in this screencast and give you a little bit of an intro. Imperialism happens in several places throughout the world, most notably through the scramble for Africa, happens as well in India under the British. We're going to see it happen in China and Japan. It will look a little bit different everywhere. Before we get into the actual study of imperialism, however, we are going to take a look at your weekly overview. In case you haven't been watching these videos, please be mindful that if you need to pause at any point in time to do that, and these will not be as long as we would usually spend on taking notes in class. Okay, so let's jump over to your packet, which you should have received from your substitute. If you didn't receive this from your substitute, ask your substitute for it or print it from the website. So, in looking at the assignments for this week, we'll be looking at the motives for imperialism, the British imperialism in India, specifically an event that we call the Sepoy Mutiny, imperialism in Africa, the scramble for Africa, and then I'm going to give you some time at the end of the week to work on an African imperialism DBQ, a document-based question, an essay, if you will, a written response where we analyze different documents about imperialism in Africa. Imperialism in Africa has a huge lasting impact on some of the issues and problems that African nations experience today. So I think this is really important to kind of pay attention to that so that when I come back, we're able to discuss how the scramble for Africa affected Africa as a whole. Okay, so let's jump over to just what is imperialism. When we talk about imperialism, this is when one country controls the political, economic, or cultural life of another country. We see examples of old imperialism when Spain and Portugal took over the Americas. Now we're going to look at new imperialism where Britain, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, they go to Africa and Asia and they take over these nations as their own. If you take a look at this map actually tells you which European countries took over the various parts of the world that are shown on your screen. So for example, if we take a look at Africa, Africa was divided among many European nations. This whole territory here that's in light purple was French. There's a huge chunk in the middle that was the Belgian Congo, which you will talk about next week. If we take a look, Great Britain had colonies in India, Australia, South Africa. So they take over areas of the world and take them as their own. If we were to talk about the causes of imperialism and why imperialism happens, ties in with nationalism. There's this national pride. Places such as the British, they'll say things like, the sun never set on the British Empire. We have such a huge empire that the sun never set on it. Industrialized countries want global power. They want to demonstrate that they are better than others. They want to show their superiority. So it's a huge reason why nations will go and take over others. Additionally, there's this huge concept, it's a social concept of social Darwinism. Social Darwinism ties back to Charles Darwin, this concept that some humans evolve and are just better than others. This is a hugely racist concept. If you take a look at the political cartoon that's on the screen, you will see indications of lots of racism during this time. We'll see that frequently people who practice and governments who practice imperialism, they will take both nationalism and combine it with this idea of social Darwinism, which is this idea that some humans are just better, more powerful than others, and that they have the right to take over certain places, specifically applied to Africa. When we talk about economic causes of imperialism, the Industrial Revolution creates a need for more raw materials to supply factories, and places like Britain also want to sell their finished product. So we'll see industries need a place to sell their stuff. They might go, the British specifically go to India and sell their things. Indian cotton is sent to the British. So there's an exploitation of natural resources by the colonizing country. Imperialism as a whole is a very, very horrible experience for places that are taken over. We see a deprivation of basic rights, like we start to see with earlier in our class with like the Aztecs and the Incas and how they were treated by the European colonies. The main event that you will look at in this new imperialism, this idea, is a mutiny. And we'll see it happen by the sepoys. So you'll be reading a little bit about that because the British will go into India and abuse the sepoys, which are Indian soldiers who are led by British commanders. So you're going to read a little bit about that. And then the scramble for Africa will be something that I recap for you a little bit in next week's video. If you have any questions, that was really fast, so please reach out, consult your textbook, make sure you're doing your crash course, and I will be grading your assignments and making sure that you are on track with where you need to be. I hope you all are doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.